Hi, welcome. So today I woke up and I felt like crying, so I decided that I was gonna read 1-star reviews of my favorite books of all time. And all you need to know about me is that I'm a Cancer, so I am a little sensitive sometimes with the things that I love, but hopefully I don't take any of these to heart. So the first book that we're gonna start off with is Golden Son by Pierce Brown. And this series, the Red Rising series, has just become one of my favorite series of all time. It is so good. And last night I finished reading Morning Star, so it's still fresh in my mind. And I don't think I'm gonna find any 1-star reviews for this book, but oh, there is 1-star reviews for this book. Golden Son is one of my favorites from the series, so I'm not ready. Okay, so the first review says, I hated everything. I still hate the writing style. I hate the first person perspective in present tense, but it especially doesn't work in this book because we are seeing Daryl's thoughts in present tense. That means we are seeing his thoughts as things unfold. So it makes zero sense that he can hide all of his plans from the reader. The way it's written, it just makes no sense, and it is very annoying to read. Well, I mean, I didn't think it was annoying to read. I was still very surprised when he revealed some of his plans, and I can see why it wouldn't make sense, but I think you're reading too much into it. The next comment says, this book does not deserve to win the 2015 Goodreads Choice Awards, but it might make a nice coaster for my train. Jesus, I mean, I would use it as a coaster too, but I would reread it every single day if I could. A very long and disappointing story. In fact, too long to finish for characters I don't care about. 0 of 10 stars. 0 of 10. Are you sure? Like, did we read the same book? Was this a review for another book? I think it was. I'm gonna make myself believe that this was for another book and not Golden Son. This one says, I finished this, and guess what I get afterwards? Depression. I mean, that's part of the book. Do you think I'm happy right now? I'm depressed. Okay, so the next book we're gonna be doing is Morning Star by Pierce Brown. I just literally finished reading this book not long ago, like last night, so it is still very fresh in my mind, and it broke my heart. So I don't know if I'm ready for this. People are brutal. I hate it when authors cheat. When you have a first-person narrative and the narrator expresses thoughts or feelings to the reader that are not true in an attempt to keep the surprise, which was pretty obvious anyway. That's cheating. Ruined it for me. I think I know what part you're talking about, Jack. I think it just added to the surprise. I didn't feel cheated. It had me on my toes the whole time. Cheating? I don't know. So this person left a review for Golden Son, and he didn't like it. So he also left a review for Morning Star, and okay, let's see what he says. This much too long novel is great on useless violence and short on meaningful dialogue. 1 out of 10 stars. Oh, damn it, Tim. Oh, I feel like you need to reread it. Like, how can it be just meaningful dialogue when I was just eating it all up, you know? It made me cry so much. And why are you reading these books? I like that he didn't like them but continued the whole series. Man, that's tough. I loved all the characters. 1.5 stars and a review to follow when I'm up to it. It might take a while. I have to read a few other things until I have enough distance from how annoyed I am right now to be objective and / or fair. So I guess she didn't like it. Okay, so let's move on from the Red Rising series and do One Dark Window. I read this book last year. It was my first like gothic fantasy book, and I loved it. I gave it a 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. So let's see what other people have to say about it. I'm trying so hard to understand the rating of this book and why it is so loved, but I genuinely can't. It's bad. It's bland. It's poorly written, and it's just a waste of time. I finished it in one night. I thought it was really good. I love the storyline. I love the magic system. DNF! Exclamation point. Slow, boring pace. I didn't get what this was advertised to be. I mean, but it couldn't be more in your face. Like, what do you mean? Like,
what do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean?
Next one says, if I wanted to read a book with stupid rhyming poems every chapter, I would read Dr. Seuss, and it would be much more interesting, substantial, and serious than this. The dude's name is Raven, bruh. Okay, but to be fair, okay, Dr. Seuss slaps. I like all his books. So if you don't want to read this and read Dr. Seuss instead, I encourage you to do so, because I can't even fight you on that. He's good. Jesus. Okay, this one says, this book has to be a social experiment. Everything about this was so bad. Flat and boring characters, no world building, a horribly predictable romance thrown in, and insanely impersonable writing. This literally reads like some fanfic. I mean, the dude's name is Raven? Never knew it was possible to be so bored reading a fantasy. Hey, Raven is one of my favorite book boyfriends, but I do agree. When I first read his name, and I was like, Raven, this seems Raven, cool. But I feel like all the books of all the guys in fantasy are so dumb. I think I've only liked one or two. Every other is just like, oh, here we go again. But I mean, I'll only give you that. Not the character, only the name. Sure, why not? If I had to hear that she saw stars from pain after tripping over her own feet one more time because she's just a dainty, silly, uncoordinated girl, I'll unlearn how to read. Okay, that was good. That was really, really good. I liked it. I really liked that one. That was okay. I liked it. Now we're gonna move genres, and we're gonna do one of my favorite horrors of all time, and that is The Ruins by Scott Smith. And I know people might have a lot of bad things to say about this, but I'm ready. Okay? We started with Red Rising series, so it can go downhill from there, right? Oh man, I'm so nervous. I love this book. These people are in a life-threatening, terrifying situation, and while they're trying to arrest one woman her boyfriend off to comfort herself, you cannot be serious. I mean, but if you're in a life-threatening situation, you're about to die. You know you're about to die. I mean, wouldn't you be doing the same? Well, I mean, you already figured out that there's no way you're going to survive, so. I found it irritatingly dumb, lacking any real depth at all. The worst book I have read in years. It's so brutal. That's so brutal. Okay, this one says, I am left speechless. I have just spent 30 minutes trying to find one good thing about it. Nothing good about the characters, nor the development of the story, and certainly not about the aptness of the title. And yet, there we have it. Lots of stellar reviews. Maybe just not my bag. Yeah, Paul, maybe just not your bag. This person just commented, no. She was like, yeah, no, I don't like it. Like, AI has been fed a load of Dan Brown books and a bad Stephen King with instructions make it tedious and two-dimensional. She's roasting two of my favorite authors, Scott Smith and Stephen King, in the same comment. Okay. It hurts, guys. Okay, the next book we're doing is Never Let Me Go by Kazu Ishiguro, and I read this at the beginning of this year, and if you were here for it, I read it in reading the New York Times best books. If you were here for that video, and if you watched that video, you will know that this book made me bawl my eyes out. I cried so much. I gave it a 5 stars. It is just so good. So I can't see why people hate on it. Okay, I can see why people would hate on it. This one has the most 1-star reviews out of all the other books, so I can't believe it. This one's so brutal. He just said, please go. Dude, people are so funny on the internet, I swear. This one says, thank God it's over. A book club selection that I found to be painfully slow, incredibly boring, and not all that original or shocking. I am very clearly much in the minority here, but there it is, 1.5 stars. I respect it. Especially if it was a book club reading and you didn't actually pick it up because you wanted to read it. I understand. It's happened to me lots of times. DNF'd at 40%. Honestly, I can't take it anymore. I am so bored and miserable reading this. I just can't continue. I feel like you should continue. I feel like the end is the best part. It is so heartbreaking, and that's when all the emotions of all the characters come to like this big climax, and it's so good. It's so sad. I understand why it could be a little depressing for a lot of people, but I like to be a little depressed sometimes, so what can I say? The main character fell completely flat to me. The whole book is building up a romance that only sees the light of day in the last 30 pages, which is so completely passionless and lackluster. Again, it wasn't supposed to be passion. It was supposed to be just the doom of it all. That's why this book is so sad, because you knew that it was like a one-sided romance throughout the whole book. In the end, they had very little time to enjoy that romance together. So that's why it's so sad. That I think it was supposed to be that way. I don't think it was supposed to be a big romance from the beginning. That's why it's what it is. That's why it's such a tragic book. Okay, this one says, "Oh, Ruth, I wish you would just Fair. She does talk a lot. Just hated everything about it. Sickly plot, insipid characters, tedious writing style. Can't believe I actually made it to the end." But you made it, and you're a trooper for making it to the end. You know, good job. You finished one more book for the year. Okay, so now we're gonna do another one of my favorite books of all time, and that is The Shining by Stephen King. And I don't think there should be a lot of bad reviews, right? It's just hard to admit that some of the books that you love, people hate, so it's a hard pill to swallow. First comment says, "How is this book so popular? It is boring as..." It does tend to ramble, especially in this book where the setting is just one. It's just inside a hotel that's supposed to be very cozy, like in the middle of the mountains during a winter storm. The way he describes all of this is very like cozy. So I can see how you found that boring, but maybe pick up something else like Billy Summers. That's a very action-packed book, and I think maybe you will like that one better. Custodial staff of one Percentator Resort commits grave breaches of employment agreement by failing to keep grounds free and clear of supernatural deterioration. Deterioration. Deteriorate. You know what? I don't like your review just because you used that word. I hated this book, and I'm saying this as a person who has spent most of this year reading, listening to, and watching adaptations of Stephen King's work. I truly hated this book. So I think Melissa really hated this book. One of the best horror books, my ass. Gosh. So she didn't like it. Okay, this comment's actually really funny. It says, "Stop giving this man typewriters. Jesus Christ." Okay, this one says, "My first Stephen King and probably my last." No, there's so many good books by him. I hope that it's not his last one, because I think he might be missing out of a good book. Okay, so there you have it. If you are ever feeling confident in your book taste, if you ever think to yourself, "Man, I have really good book taste," then I recommend you read 1-star reviews of your favorite books on Goodreads, because these people have no chill. They will say what's on their mind and just trash your favorite book over and over again. So if you're gonna do it, good luck to you. Okay guys, so that was it for this video. I have seen this video going around a lot, so I figured that I'd give it a shot myself, and I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you want to. If you don't, then maybe one day you will. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!